How cool is this? So he, we were talking about earlier about him not necessarily having to go towards Tortoise Pan to have a drink. He arrived at a mud wallow, had a drink for about a minute. You could barely see him. He was hidden in the grass, and then walked around and sat right in front of the car. How cool is this? You can barely see him. So obviously he's sat down right here. I don't want to move right now because I don't think he's going to do anything, but he is sitting not quite close. It's a bit deceiving. He's probably about 2.5, 3 meters away from the car. It's pretty close to a leopard though. But because you can't actually see the ground in front of us. But this just goes to show how relaxed these animals are. So he came from over here. These are the wallows that he was drinking at, and he walked all the way around, and then went bloop, and now he is doing a bit of grooming. So, of course, once he gets up again and carries on, we'll give him a little bit of space. But there is also another vehicle in the sighting now with his guests, which is quite cool. So they've got a fantastic view of this male leopard. And I got some information from some of you, so thank you, of course, for sharing that. But apparently the Tortoise Pan is of royalty himself, and that his great-grandmother, if I'm not mistaken, was potentially the first leopard ever habituated at Londolozi many, many years ago. It might have been his great-grandmother or great-great-grandmother, one of the two. So that's quite epic. He really is a stunning cat. And as he gets older and older, that dewlap is going to develop even more. You can see he didn't even look at the car. He's not even interested. He knows that he's the boss around here. He's just scent marking again. What I am going to do is I'm going to let this vehicle go in front of us, and because we've obviously spent a little bit of time with him, so we'll let them have a nice view, and then we'll just sort of play leapfrog and have an opportunity. But again, this is an optical illusion. He's actually not standing right on top of the car. Now he's about 10 meters away from the vehicle, but because of the way that the camera is framed, it seems like he's standing right there. He's actually gone around the corner. So don't always believe what you see with cameras. I especially think with what we're doing, it appears like things are a lot closer than what they actually are. So yeah, so he's actually quite far away completely. So I don't know if Dion, are you gonna go? Yeah, we're gonna let them just carry on for just a little bit, and then like I said, we'll just do the leapfrog game. But how epic! What a cool cat! He's so beautiful. He is my new favorite male leopard. That's it, done. I love Mareebs, but let's talk about territorial male leopards. He's a very impressive individual. I still would love to get the opportunity to spend some time with Molwati. I think I'm only going to be able to do that maybe at night time, which is also fine because we've got the infrared cameras, which are great. And we're heading in the direction of Impala Plains now. I'm hoping that Dion is very kindly just going to take hold of this sighting. It's obviously, I don't need to spend my entire time on the Graham Drive radio, so we'll let him organize everybody. But we should be able to get a view. There we go. We can maybe have a squeeze. I think Dion's going to let us have a gap. Lenny, so Tortoise Pan, it's actually quite funny. You're not the first person today to ask me, how on earth did this leopard get his name? So Tortoise Pan is the name of a waterhole, essentially, or a small group of pans on Londolozi. And he was, maybe as a cub, spent a lot of time around there, or perhaps when he, was starting to become independent, maybe he spent a bit of time around there. That I'm not 100% sure. So quite often leopards will get their names from an area that they were hanging around in, or where they were born, or they might take a name, similar to one of their parents. So an example of that is the red hawk male from Mala Mala. That's actually also a young male that's been seen occasionally here in the north. So, we could potentially see him too, and he's a really beautiful cat too, and quite a character. And his, okay, copy, thank you. And then his dad, the red hawk male's dad, well, suspected father is to be the accipiter male. And obviously, accipiter is the word we use for small birds of prey, or smaller birds of prey. So yeah, so it kind of just depends, and that's up to the reserve where the animal was mainly seen. Yeah, it's really up to them to decide on what their names are going to be. But you know, how we name leopards in the Sabi Sand could be completely different from how another reserve names their cats. So it's not a set in stone sort of rule. But that's just how we do it typically in this area. And then, you know, would have been one lodge that kind of decided on it, and then the others sort of followed suit to try and keep some kind of formality, especially because everybody's operating under the same umbrella here in the Sabi Sand Game Reserve. So Dion has said to me, when he gets a gap, he's going to try and actually go off-road and just go around so that we can follow him from behind, and then, you know, he'll just wait for them to pass. But it's actually going to open up just now. Again, he's a little bit ahead of the vehicle. He's just stopping and scanning because he's definitely keen, I think, on hunting something. So while he's got the cover of the trees and he's on the road and the grass is quite tall, he's just sort of scouting in this open area. Are there any impala? Is there, you know, can he smell something? Can he see something? Can he hear something? What's his next move? He's really not rushing into anything. So again, behavior completely different from what we saw this morning. Still scent marking, but quite calm, not as sort of determined, and with the potential that, okay, if there's the opportunity to grab an animal, I'm going to do it. I hope he does, because he is heading south, which is going to be off of our traverse. We've still got a bit of time with him, so we'll try and spend as long as we can with him. I would definitely like to do that, and I'm sure all of you sitting at home will not oppose to that. So there we go. So Dion's actually, it's quite open here. He's just going around on the open plains. And hopefully going to catch him. Oh, they've also just pointed out that there's an owl in the bushes. So when Tortoise Pan crosses out, we'll have to come back here and come and look for this apparent owl in the bushes. Igor, you're taking note where we are. Shame these poor guests want to really look at the owl. They're not getting that opportunity. Okay, we're going to head around and see if we can get another view of Tortoise Pan before he